Oh, what are we going to talk about? I don't know. This is going to be a boring morning radio show for you guys tomorrow. I'm sorry. I got a lot of you guys watched today. I'm very excited about that. The U.S. dollar. Let's take a look at that. This is a good time to always talk about the U.S. dollar in here. Gold's having a little retrace. It's down $17. Silver's down 50 cents. So the metals are having a consolidation day today. The dollar index. Let's look at crude oil too. We don't talk about crude oil that much. We're gonna start talking about crude oil too every day. Breaking news. Breaking news. Vincenzo's gonna start talking crude oil, right? Because crude oil matters. It's all part of that thing that we call inflation as the dollar devalues, right? Dollar loses value. Oil costs more if you're using U.S. dollars to buy it. Is this light on or is this light off? This light is on, but it was very difficult to see. But as inflation gets worse and the dollar loses value, oil is going to continue to rise because we pay for oils with dollars. And as our dollar's value is less, we need more dollars to buy the same barrel of oil. The oil is not going to change. The oil is still going to be the same pure black gold that we all need and love. But as our dollar goes down, we're going to have to use more of them to get the same amount of oil that we used to get, right? Because our dollar is losing value because President Joe Biden, communist Joe Biden, literally a human printing press, is printing $5.5 trillion already. He's about to do another couple of trillion to bring it up to about $7.5 trillion by the halfway point of the year. On his way to $10 trillion his first year in inflation. Because when you expand the money supply by printing money, that is literally the definition of inflation, expanding the money supply, right? Inflation means expanding the money supply. However you want to expand the money supply, that is inflation, and the effect of that is rising prices and price shortages. We're going to get into price shortages and wage controls and why that's a very bad idea, and it's been tried, tested, and true to fail. We're going to get into that because the United States is going to have wage and price controls. I fucking guarantee it. It's a Vincenzo guarantee that Joe Biden will have wage and price controls before he's out of office. He will go full Soviet style wage and price controls, and it's going to be a fucking disaster. Food shortages, energy shortages, skyrocketing price. It's going to be a disaster. But crude is going to continue to go up along with the rest of this shit that's going up. It's having a consolidation now, finally, after a huge bull run from that collapse last year when they shut the world economy down, way down there, right? Or it's back way farther than that. But I think you're just going to come retest your lower moving averages as support, and you're going to continue this run up. We'll start breaking that down. The U.S. dollar is up 0.5%. Like I said the other day, I think we're moving up to that moving average, the overhead 200, and then we're going to get rejected off that, and then we're going to continue down. That orange dotted line at 90.727 is when Joe Biden took office. And I believe that it's going to be threatening all-time record lows by the end of Joe Biden's first term because of his horrible monetary policies, right? It's just disastrous. And Trump wasn't any better, but the dollar, I believe, actually went up under Trump, technically, from when he got in to when he left. But he was a big government, big inflation guy too, because former President Trump expanded the money supply by $5 trillion this last year, which that's $5 trillion in inflation. And as we know, Joe Biden has already done $5.5 trillion in the first 4 months. So Trump took office, and it actually went down at the end. It was up a little bit for Trump, but then it did go down. But Joe Biden's already accelerated it down, right? And I think we're coming down here by the end of Joe Biden. 78 could be by the end of this year, 2021. And by the time Joe Biden's up for re-election, I believe the U.S. dollar is going to be down there at the bottom of this long-term lower support, threatening all-time lows, somewhere between 70 handle and 63 spot 126 at the bottom of the slower support, because Joe Biden is an everlasting disaster, and he believes that he could just give everybody a printing press and then nobody would have to work, and everything would be rosy and golden, rose-colored chocolates, right? Because Joe Biden doesn't understand, or if he does understand, he knows what he's doing, and he's trying to destroy the wealth in this country, which I believe it's the latter. I believe he knows what inflation is. I believe all these cronies and fleecers and hustlers and heisters and criminals in Washington, Democrat or Republican, they're all criminals. A couple of good guys. Ben Carson's a good guy. Dr. Ron Paul's a good guy. There's a few other good ones that actually seem like they care. They were smart people. They were doctors, lawyers, and then brain surgeon and Dr. Ben Carson, right? Ron Paul, or Rand Paul, Ron Paul's son. Rand Paul was a child doctor, delivered babies, gave life, right? Good guy, smart guy. But most of them are just scumbags and criminals, like Nancy Pelosi and Gavin Newsom and Gretchen Whitmore, right? Dianne Feinstein. They all just get bought and paid for to hustle and push communism and socialism, because they are communists and socialists, and they're trying to knock down and fleece and heist and shiest and strip our freedoms and overall liberties that this great country once protected by God's given rights. Whether you're religious or not, God gave us those rights, so future communist man or woman could not strip us from them, because if God gave it to you, man cannot take it.